Okay. Hello, Rajesh. Hope you're recording so we can get started. So let me share the screen. Okay, great. Okay, welcome back. We'll start with the prayer first.
Sahanavavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Okay, let me share again with audio. Okay. So welcome back. So there was a gap. So let me try to pick up the thread from where we stopped. So the whole idea of this chapter, as we explained multiple times, is Krishna started turning the corner and he started explaining the second major topic of the Gita in this chapter. Because the first 6 chapters of the Gita was talking about the individual I, and the second 6th chapter is going to talk about the nature of Ishvara or the. So this chapter introduce Krishna talks about himself. Himself means as a blue boy of Vrindavan, or not as an individual Krishna, or not as Mr. Krishna, but he started talking about the nature of God. What is absolute reality? What is para prakriti? What is apara prakriti? So if you hope you remember that sequence. Krishna started introducing the whole subject, saying that I do have two nature. One is a higher nature, which is independent of space and time, and that always exists, and that is known as para prakriti. And then I have another manifestation called apara prakriti. Apara prakriti is derived from para prakriti, and from this apara prakriti, all physical and the subtle matters are created. So the entire world, when it manifested, it is a combination of this apara prakriti. And this apara prakriti in turn comes from the para prakriti. I am the cause of everything. Every being, right? He said, I am the abhinna nimitta upadana karana of the universe. And then he said, it is not easy for you to see the para prakriti because it is a transcendental nature. But the immanent form of me, it is easy to recognize. So he enumerated 14 different examples by which we can easily see him. So that is brilliantly explained in this chapter. So remember, he said, when you taste the water, the taste or the wetness of the water is me. I am the light in the sun and the moon. I am the heat in the fire. So all those different examples were given. And after that, he said, you need to understand the fact that there are different types of people who worship Ishvara, because some people do not recognize the Ishvara because they are called as Asura. Asura means not Asuras by birth. Asuras means the one who always interested in the sense organs. That is, means sense objects. That is what is Asura. And such people do not recognize the presence of Ishvara at all. And then he said, there are Sukritins, the one who did good deeds, or the somebody who is matured. They recognize Ishvara. And he talked about the 4 categories of the devotees also: Artha, Artharthi, Jijnasu, and Jnani. And then he said, Artha and Artharthi, even though they seek Ishvara, even though they recognize the presence of Ishvara, even though they relate to Ishvara, the real goal is not Ishvara, right? I'm not the end goal. I'm only a means for something else. But still, at least they are matured. They know that there is an unknown factor X between them and the results. And for that, they invoke Ishvara. And when they pray, and that prayer is also a karma, and that prayer has both Drishtabhala and Adrishtabhala. Drishtabhala is it is going to reduce my worries and anxiety, and the Adrishtabhala is what? Like it is going to add up to my good karma. So we explained that. And then he said, out of all these devotees, Jnani is the most evolved one. He didn't say that one is better than the other, but he said Jnani is the evolved one because everybody else is not always connected with Ishvara. Artha and Artharthi is going to connect with Ishvara only when there is a distress or when there is a need. Then only they need Ishvara. Jijnasu always tried to connect with Ishvara because he wanted to get connected, but he has not, means in between he fails. So out of all the devotees, only Jnani is the person who knows Ishvara because he changes his identity to Ishvara and he is always connected with Ishvara. So this was the topic we talked earlier. And then last week we started introducing another topic, which was very, very interesting topic. So, no, are you in the call?
Sorry. Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Could you chance 20 to 23 if you don't mind?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
कामैस्तैस्तैर्हृतज्ञानाः प्रपद्यन्ते यदेवताः तं तं नियममास्थाय प्रकृत्या नियता स्वया यो यो यां यां तनुं भक्तः श्रद्धयार्चितुमिच्छति तस्य तस्याचलां श्रद्धां तामेव विदधाम्यहम् तया श्रद्धया युक्तः तस्याराधनमीहते लभते च ततः कामान् मयैव विहितान् हितान्.
Beautiful. So let's quickly see the meaning of these verses once again. Krishna said, not always all the devotees are connected with the Paramatma because most of the people are driven by their desire for artha and kama. Some people are interested only in getting money. Some people are interested in relationship. Some people are interested in social welfare of other people. Some people are interested in health. So every individual has their own goals. And what they do, they just invoke the deities. Means, remember we talked about the difference between deities and the Paramatma. Deities means it is a power center. For example, if you want wealth, you invoke Kubera. So in the modern term, means you become a devotee of the Wall Street. You learn all the rituals are there, how to invest the money, how to balance the money, etc. So you will be proficient in that activity and you will invest your time with devotion and with dharma, because that is why Krishna said they will start devoted to other deities. As long as you committed to dharma and you do the upasana for the other deities. When you see the deities, don't think that it is only the Vedic worship. Vedic rituals are nothing but an emulation or a simulation of what is happening in the real world. So when you say worship Kubera, on the Laukikya front, you can say that you are worshipping the money. And there are different types of worship, and each of these worship has to follow their own rituals. For example, if you worship, if you are a money seeker or if you are a career seeker, what do? You always update your profile. You want to make sure that you are networking and you are doing everything in accordance with dharma to improve your profile or your career. There is nothing wrong in that. What Krishna is saying is that when you invoke such devotees, what is going to happen? That deities will bless you and you will get the results. And Krishna tells one more point. So when you do worship such deities, so deities, it could be a Vedic ritual, or it could be a Laukika karma, like you wanted to make money or you wanted to become healthy. When you invest your time and effort with faith in that endeavor, that deity is going to worship you. Sorry, that deity is going to bless you and you will get the results. So that is what he said in the 2 weeks. And finally, he said, even though you get the results from these deities, ultimately know that the results comes from you. So whoever worship in whatever form, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, the results comes from the Paramatma. So that is the 22nd verse. He tells, endowed with that faith. Faith means your faith in yourself and faith in the universal law. When you worship a particular deity, whether it is Kubera or Varuna or Indra or Agni or whatever it is, whatever Vedic deities, or in the Laukika world, what is the profession you invoke? What do you get? Lephatecha tatat kaman. Your desires will be fulfilled. Means you when you put effort according to your karma, your means desires will be fulfilled. And understand that that desire fulfillment is also aligned with the law of nature, which is designed by me. Because I am the intelligent order of the universe. I make sure that when you put your effort for a goal, somebody is not interested in Brahma Jnana or the knowledge of the truth, nothing. He is only interested in health. So what he do? He goes to gym every day, work out every day, and if his karma is aligned with that, definitely he will get the result. And know that that results I provide. So this answers a big question. A lot of people worry, right? Should I worship Ishvara in the form of Krishna? There is no need. As long as you worship an higher altar, that is totally fine. So Krishna tells, like, means I quoted one Sanskrit Subhashita also last week. Akashat patitam toyam yata gacchati sagaram sarvaloka namas sarvadeva namaskaram keshavam pradigacchati. So whatever means the waters, all the rivers flowing in different mountains, they take different routes and reaches the ocean ultimately. So all the prayers to any names and forms, whether it is a Mayan deity or a tribal deity or an ultimate Vedic ritual, it doesn't matter. It comes to the Lord ultimately. So this is very important. We should not negate or we should not look down anybody's worship. Understand that all that worship goes to the Ishvara. So this is very important message from this verse.
Yes, Rajaji, good evening.
Good evening, Arnabji.
Good evening. I had a very critical question about this verse, and you know, I've always been very confused and somewhat disturbed by this verse also.
Yep.
So the question is that is there any hidden implicit message? And I'm repeating what you've already answered, but just wanted to, you know, ask another dimension of this question.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any hidden message that you should not be worshipping Ganpati or Lakshmi? And
not at all.
Should only be worshipping Krishna?
Not at all, right? Rather, it answers the other way. Like whatever worship you do, whether you worship Ishvara in the form of Krishna or Ganapati or Saraswati, extend that to Christ or Father in heaven or Allah, it doesn't matter. That is the message. And in 2 verses, he tells, lot of people think that they know me completely. In fact, they don't know me. So they think me as Krishna, Mr. Krishna. Krishna say that I'm not Mr. Krishna. I'm not talking as Mr. Krishna. So just in the verse 25, 5th is that exactly what it is. So this chapter is supposed to answer all these type of confusions, because fanatics misinterpret some of these verses and they say that, look at this verse, right? If you worship gods, you go to gods. And if you worship me, it comes to me. And they interpret that me as Mr. Krishna. So it is not Mr. Krishna. It is the Paramatma. So that is very important. And we need to understand that. And look at the context of the Gita, right?
There are many organizations, very popular organizations, modern day organizations, which basically preach opposite to what you just explained, and they enforce that on their followers.
Right. That is totally unfortunate. And you can look at Shankaracharya's commentary. Shankaracharya explains this very well, and he called that out example exactly like you said. Whether it is Shiva or Ganapati or Devi, it doesn't matter.
So Rajeshji, follow-up question.
Yep.
If somebody is following the Dvaita way of worship,
Mm.
not the Advaita,
Mhm.
then what you just explained, is that applicable to a Dvaitist also?
Absolutely. So a Dvaitin believe that, okay, I am separate from the Ishvara,
Mhm.
and he worship
Mhm.
Ishvara, right? A Dvaitin could be many. Like if a Hindu Dvaitin or a Vedanta Dvaitin, he
Mhm.
may worship Krishna.
Mhm.
And if it is a Shakteya worshipper, he may
Devi.
worship Devi.
Yeah.
And if it is a Christian, he worship only Jesus. And he
Christ,
tells
yeah.
that everybody else goes to hell.
Yeah.
It is exactly that. But it means, see, that part doesn't matter. If he has strong faith in his deity, right? It doesn't matter whether he call him as Parabrahman or Father in heaven or Allah. It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
As long as you have faith and as long as you are dharmic, if you go and burn the other devotee, mind you, what happened? The constraint is violated. You are violating the dharma. If you blame the other devotee, then also you are violating the dharma. But definitely, as long as you stick your God and you don't believe in any other God, that is totally fine. You are okay. You're totally fine. And this to
As long as you don't
demonstrate.
impose your view on someone else.
Yeah. So there is a folk tale to demonstrate this. There was a tribal person who went to a temple and asked the priest, in what form should I invoke the Lord? This priest was doing some complicated rituals or alankara. He got pissed off. And he said, like, you worship in the form of a water buffalo. So this tribal started worshipping or contemplating the Lord in the form of that water buffalo. Over a period of time, what happened? When this priest was about to take the idol from the sanctorium and outside, what happened? He could not take that out. So, and this tribal was sitting there. He said the horn is like locking somewhere. Just shake a little bit or move a little bit. Then only the idol came out. So the Lord can manifest himself in any forms.
Yeah.
Remember, everything, remember the whole chapter is introduced in a step-by-step basis. He said, I am everything, right? Sutre manigana ivaha. Every being, I am the existence. Every being, I am the consciousness. So can you find somewhere or some form where I am not? So you can invoke the Ishvara in any form you want. And the idea of the idol is, what is that? It is a symbolism. So on the 4th of July, everybody hoisted the flag. What does that mean? Is that flag the country?
No.
Absolutely not. But it represents the flag. So the definition of vigraha, the idol is an English word, but the Sanskrit word is called vigraha. Vigraha means that which has an embodied concept. Visheshana grahayate. Something encapsulated in that principle. That is all vigraha is. So the flag is an encapsulation of the country, right? So suppose somebody spit the flag. Suppose somebody burn the flag. What do we feel? We feel that my country is insulted, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's what happens. So just like that, idol is nothing but it is an encapsulation of Ishvara. So Ishvara is encapsulated in an idol. That doesn't mean that the Ishvara is only in the idol. No, the country is not just limited to the space and the time duration of the flag. The country was there before the flag came into being, and the country will continue to exist even after the existence of the flag. And the geographical dimensions of the flag is very much limited, but the country is much bigger than that. Just like that. And even remember the manifestation of Ishvara in the world, whether it is a Krishna or a Rama, what happened? Remember the example I gave the other day, like a lucid dream.
Yeah.
Means in a lucid dream, a person who knows that he is dreaming is an avatara. Like that is exactly as an avatara or a self-realized master. He know that he is the creator of the dream. He know that he is the sustainer of the dream, and he know that he has control over everything. So, but still, that avatara is also a part of the dream world. So, Mr. Krishna has a body and a mind, and that is limited to this world. Mr. Christ was born to this world, right? So again, he is the imminent part of the imminent world. That means he is limited by space and time. That is very important. So you have to go beyond Mr. Krishna, Mr. Christ, and Mr. everybody. Like you have to go to the Parabrahman. And it doesn't matter whether it is a Dvaidin, Advaidin, or Vishishta Dvaidin. Means the first step is have a devotion to God. Your understanding will vary. So this is very, very, very revolutionary words of the Gita. So I know that some people just fanatically preach the other way, but Shankaracharya, out of his wonderful commentaries, he explained this. Vivekananda explained this. All the great masters, means a lot of masters have explained this verse in this formula. Okay. So ultimately, whoever you worship, ultimately the law of karma, according to law of karma, you will get the results. And of course, it is not just the law of karma. You need to be very careful, right? Remember, we explained in that law of karma lecture. The result comes with, means one factor is karma and the other factor is what? Your effort, prayatna. So this prayatna plus karma will produce the result, and I am the giver or author of that result. So truly speaking, all the results comes from Ishvara. So this Ishvara or Parabrahman or the ultimate reality is the source from which all the results comes in. Whether you are a worshipper of Shiva or whether you are a worshipper of Krishna, it doesn't matter. Arnabji, from your own state, right? I mean, the great Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to say, some people call water as pani, some people call as water, some people call jala. Whatever name you call, you are referring to the same thing. So in programming language, you can use multiple pointers pointing to the same object, correct?
Yeah.
So exactly the same thing. So if you use pointer A or pointer B, it is ultimately referring to the same object. That's it.
It gets confusing when people start saying that pointer A is superior
Absolutely
to pointer
not.
B. Yeah.
Pointer A, pointer B, pointer C, all are nothing but pointers. And real existence is the object created in the memory. Every pointer is only a reference to that memory. So Krishna, Rama, Allah, means Jesus, all these names are what? It is just pointers pointing to the ultimate reality.
And ultimately, in memory, they all point to the same object.
Exactly.
Always.
Everybody pointing to the same reality.
Yeah.
And even the deities. So let's say that you have a master object with 100 attributes. And sometimes what you want to do, you don't want to expose that 100 attributes to an end user. So you will take 2 attributes and create a finance object. You create another 2 attribute and create a social object. You create another 3 attributes and take another one. Each can be considered as a deity. That's it. So his scope is limited, but from where he derives the power? He derives the power again from the absolute source. So this is very important. So whatever blessing you get, blessing comes from me. Whether you recognize me as Parabrahma or not, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, there is only one Ishvara. Means Ekam Eva Advyutiyam. This is what the Upanishad tells. One and non-dually one. There is only one Ishvara. So somebody asks, in Hindu religion, people worship multiple gods? No, we worship only one God. It is just out of ignorance, people start criticizing.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to verse 23. So, Anu, could you please stand?
Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavatyalpamethasam devan devayajo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi.
Again, brilliant thing. So he tells Antavantu phalam tesham. This is very important. Tat bhavati alpamedasam. Alpamedasam, medas means intelligence. Alpamedas means you have intelligence, but you are not utilizing it fully. You don't know what is right and wrong. Your discrimination is not a caste discrimination. Ability to discriminate or define what is right and what is wrong. So alpamedasam, people with alpamedasam, with limited intelligence or limited discrimination. Krishna said here, he used the word discrimination only, not intelligence. He's not saying that you don't have intelligence or anything like that. People who do not have means discrimination, or people do not have proper understanding. What do? Anta vanda phalam tesha. They seek, limited are the results they seek. For example, there is a beautiful story. So one king was wandering in a village. This king was capable of giving any gift to anybody, right? So that is his skill. So a small boy come in front of the king. King said, ask what you want. And the boy asked, what? I need a small toy.
Marbles.
Right?
Yeah.
A small toy worth of $1 or $2.
Yeah.
He asked. But he could have asked how much? Millions. When he could have asked millions, he settled with $1. Why? Alpamedasam. He didn't have the discrimination. He didn't know that, okay, if I ask $1 million, if I ask for $1 million, I can buy 1 million toys. He didn't knew that. Rather, he settled with a small result. Most of the times we are like that, right? We always try to settle with very small. I want that car or this house. Of course, you can get it. But when you seek something higher. So that is what Krishna tells here. So when you do not have that discrimination, all your effort will be directed to seeking limited results in the world. What happens? Such people will, means that is what, when they go and settle with the deities. So I invest all my time in Wall Street. That is totally fine. But know that you have a bigger goal, right? So he tells Devan Devayajo Yanti, worshippers of the God. What do they go? What is available within the scope of that deity you get. So if I just seek health, if I just limited my seeking only to health, I put my 24/7 effort on health, definitely you will be blessed with what? Health. But what is the point? I get only health. If I seek career, I invest 24/7 in career, definitely you will get career because that deity will worship. So, but the scope of that deity or the domain of that deity is only that particular limited place. So he cannot get anything further. So Krishna is saying that, so when you seek artha and kama, you get artha and kama. Whereas if you really seek me means the Parabrahman, you seek the knowledge, you wanted to know me, what you reach me. When you reach me, what you are getting is what? You are getting freedom from all sufferings and all unhappiness. This is what Krishna is telling. It's very, very interesting words, right? Those who have limited discrimination, the results are finite. And those who seeks that deities, even these translations in books are not good. Those who seeks the gods go to the gods. This is from where the misinterpretation comes. The interpretation is the deities. Those who seek the deities reaches the deities. And those who worship me comes to me. Know me in my entirety. Remember, he said earlier, if you know me in my entirety, there is nothing else needs to be known. And there is no pain or suffering for you thereafterwards. So just remember that story I just told you earlier. The kid was given a choice to ask a boon from a king who can give millions of dollars. The kid asked for a $1 toy. That's exactly what happened. So when you ask for higher and seek the highest. And when you seek moksha, that doesn't mean that you are not leaving artha and kama away. Absolutely not. You can seek artha, you can seek kama, you can seek dharma, and you can seek moksha. That's all fine at the same time. But always keep our goal highest. And second thing is that understand the limit, because a lot of people seek artha and kama. Why? Because they feel that the artha and kama is going to fulfill all their problems, going to solve all their problems. And you all know, right? Whatever amount you get, of course, it is going to improve your lifestyle. It is going to make you richer. It is going to give you a lot of options and possibilities, the money. I'm not saying that you should not seek money. Of course, you have to pay the mortgage. You have to send your kids to the college. All that needs to happen. But understand that that is not going to solve all your problems. If you're seeking the ultimate happiness, you have to seek Ishvara. So let me just explain one more time and then we'll pause for any question. So the point is the difference in the results. Those with limited discrimination, their pursuit is limited, because for some people, the pursuit is what? I just need a little bit more money, or I need that branded car, or I need that house. That's it. And therefore, the result they seek is limited. And that result also has an end, because even if whatever I get, it will lose one day. And such people, even though they recognize Ishvara, but they seek him only for limited finite results. Artha and Artharthi are like that. And those who worship devatas, that is what they say. Devata means the deities, means gain the maximum what is within the domain of their control. That's it. But those who seek Paramatma eventually reach the Paramatma and becomes the Paramatma, because they becomes their identity, changes their identity to Paramatma. And once you reach the Paramatma, there is no falling down in such cases. Both the people, means even though both the people make effort, there is a huge difference in the result. So that is what is being clarified here. It's the basic Vedantic truth, because you seek happiness everywhere, but unfortunately, you don't understand that the happiness doesn't lie in the object. The happiness is within you. And theoretically, most of the people know, but practically nobody experience it. And that's why we go after many places. So this is an important verse again. Any questions?
One question.
Yeah.
As far as Jnani are concerned, they are not, once they realize they don't have to worship anymore, right? Because they already realize.
Absolutely. They don't have to worship anymore. Their identity becomes Ishvara.
Yeah.
So their action, their speech becomes scriptures. Their actions becomes yoga.
Got it.
That's what they say. Actually, this chapter removes a lot of doubts in Ishvara worship and Ishvara Kripa and all those things. So this chapter is such an important chapter. And I think I told you, right? This is the first chapter I studied in Bhagavad Gita. So this was a big bang for me. Okay.
I can see why.
Okay, so let's go to the next verse. Anu, could you chant?
Avyaktam vyaktimaapannam manyante mama buddhayah param bhavamachanantaha mama vyayamanuttama.
Again, another clarification. Arnabji, your question is answered here. Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyante mam abuddhayah. Buddhayah means what? The one who is intelligent. Abuddhayah means what? The one whose discrimination is not clear. One whose intelligence means one who cannot use his intelligence. We cannot say that if people don't, because remember Shankaracharya clarifies that in his commentary. Don't say that people do not have intelligence. There are only two types of people. One is people who uses the intelligence. The other people are who do have intelligence, but they don't use it. That's it. So Swami Dayananda always used to say, this is the best joke I like from him. He said, like, there are two categories of people. One is wise and the wise. So that is what. So manyante ma abuthayaha. Abuthayaha means unintelligent, means the people who cannot use their intelligence. Means people who do not use their intelligence. They think what? Avyaktam vyaktimapannam. Even though I am unlimited and unmanifested, they think that I am manifested. So what is that? Even though I am Parabrahman, I am the ultimate reality, people think that Vyaktimapannam, I am manifested as Mr. Krishna. We don't need any further clarity, right? So Krishna calls such people as abuthayaha. Considering his standard, it's a very harsh criticism. So manyante ma abuthayaha avyaktam vyaktimapannam. Even though I am infinite and unmanifest and limitless, changeless, people think that I am limited and manifested. This is exactly what happened. And then what happens? Not understanding my supreme nature, param bhavam ajanando, without knowing my entirety as imperishable and unsuppressed. So without knowing me completely, without understanding the total scope of me, they take me as Ganesha or Krishna or Buddha or Rama or this power. What happens? They will not recognize me at all. They think that my scope is limited, my ability is limited, or they think that I am constrained. I was living here only for some time and I unmanifested. That's not the case. And he called such people as abuthayaha.
But Rajesh, it's also true that, you know, it's hard to relate to the apara prakriti of God, the unmanifested nature of God. So you need Krishna and Ganesha to be able to.
Yeah, no, actually, there is nothing wrong in worshipping that, right? He's saying that I'm not just limited to Krishna's form. That's all.
Right.
That's all he's clarifying. Of course, you need a Krishna or a, because remember, he himself said, my transcendent nature is difficult to conceive. How do you conceive infinity?
Yeah, you can't.
It's impossible. Because that is why it is called infinity, and you are limited. Limited. Actually, there are. I was reading one book very recently, a modern physics book. I forgot. I'll quote that. This scenario is very well described, especially this space-time continuum. That area, this concept is very much expressed. Something is beyond your perception and inference. Yeah. So let's go a little bit further. Like, so avyaktam vyaktamapannam, right? So vyaktam means you can understand. Vyaktam means you can understand something with your perception or inference. Then only it is vyaktam. So, but I am beyond the perception and inference. That's what Krishna is telling. My nature is such a big nature. It is much beyond your comprehension because I am the Paramatma of the universe. I am the Paramatma of the universe. And people with their limited understanding, they think that I am just limited to Mr. Krishna. Or the blessing in the, means when I work hard, when I get the results in the financial domain, people think that, okay, this is the law of nature and this is how it works. But they don't understand that I have a different, bigger dimension. Yes, you are getting the results because of me in that particular form, but I have a larger dimension. So let's try to understand a little bit more. He tells, lack of discrimination denies the recognition of the Ishvara completely. Such people think that Ishvara can be directly comprehended through the perception or inference. If you remember, any knowledge, suppose you want to gain knowledge, it can happen only through a means of knowledge. And in Vedanta, we have 3 means of gaining knowledge. You remember, in fact, 5, but that can be consolidated into 3. One is called Pratyaksha. Second one is called Anumana. And the third one is Shabda Pramana or the Agama or the Vedas or the scriptures. So the Pratyaksha means the direct perception, like your sense organs. Inference means you're inferring the value, meaning logically you are computing. And Shabda Pramana means the words of the masters and the scriptures. So in the case of Ishvara, it is limitless nature of the Ishvara. You cannot know the Ishvara through the perception or inference. And it can be known. Ishvara can be known only through, means it is cannot be known, can be understood. Ishvara has to be understood only through the scriptures. And the scripture reveals the truth of the Ishvara. So if you take a pause and think the spiritual path highlighted in the Gita, it is like this. The problem is you are not perceiving yourself properly. You have a wrong self-identity. When you have a wrong self-identity, you have problems because of that wrong identity. So if my perception is not correct about myself, how do I correct it? I need a means of knowledge to know myself. And what is that means of knowledge? Scriptures tells it is the scriptures. Vedanta is a pramana. That is why we always say Vedanta is a pramana. Prama karanaha, like that is what it is. So that which gives is a means of knowledge, an instrument for prama. Prama means knowledge. So Vedanta is a pramana. Then why don't everybody studying scripture is not getting self-realized? But we said any means of knowledge to work, there are some prerequisites. For example, even if I have eyes, if there is no light in this room, I will not be able to see you. If you don't have light, I will not be able to see this pen. So what exactly is the prerequisites for Vedanta to work as a pramana? We said there are two prerequisites. One is Chitta Shuddhi and the other one is Chitta Sthiti. So for you to get the Chitta Shuddhi, you have to practice what? Karma Yoga. And for Chitta Sthiti, you have to practice Upasana Yoga. This Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, together, we call it as yoga. So the yoga practice consists of both Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga, which is going to give me Chitta Shuddhi and Chitta Sthiti. And Chitta Shuddhi and the Chitta Sthiti is going to give me the prerequisites to recognize or understand Ishvara. And then when I have the means of knowledge, the pramana, I will be able to recognize Ishvara. This is underlined in this. This is very important. If you miss this idea, you will not understand Gita at all. This is the key of understanding the Gita. So this Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Sthiti is going to give the prerequisite, and then the knowledge is going to show me the actual truth. I always remember the greatest example given by Swami Vivekananda. I always talk about that example multiple times. I'm looking for a diamond, and that diamond is lying under a pond, and that pond is muddy and it is turbulent. So suppose a passerby tell me that look means diamond. With all the enthusiasm, I find a map, I just go to the pond and look at the pond. I don't see the diamond at all. It is not because the diamond is not lying there. The diamond is still there. But the mud and the turbulence of the water, it is preventing my vision. That is what happened. So first I have to clean the mud. So the Shat Vairis, what is that? Kama, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, Mada, and Matsarya. All these things are residing in my mind. So do Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is going to flush out all those things, and practice Upasana Yoga, which is going to stabilize the mind. And when you have these two, when somebody asks you to look down, you will see the diamond. This is the brilliant explanation of Vivekananda in one of his lectures in USA. So this explains very clearly the idea. Any questions? Because I'm repeating this 150th times because this is probably the most one-liner of the Gita.
We need to also discuss how to perform Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga.
Yeah, absolutely. So we just started with Karma Yoga, right, in the second chapter. Three,
Yeah.
4, 5 chapter. That is what it is. Karma Yoga. And the 6th chapter is full of Upasana Yoga.
Hmm.
So I was reading, since you asked Upasana Yoga, I'll just take one tangent and give you one meditation technique. Gina, I will also talk to you about this. I was reading this Tripura Rahasya, which is one of the best book of meditation. And one of the meditation practice they have given is amazing. Like when I was trying to practice, that helps you to gain the so-called mindfulness. So the mindfulness is very important because you want your mind to be that is what is mindfulness. Mindful eating, mindful.
Did we lose Rajesh?
Yeah,
I think
looks
he's
like we
got an
lost.
internet issue, I think.
Yeah.
Looks
Okay,
like he'll dial back in.
No, he's back, but he's on mute. Rajesh, you're on mute.
Got it. Yeah, I think the connection just dropped for a second.
Yeah.
So how much you heard?
Can you repeat from the
Yeah,
Rahasya?
you broke right where you were explaining the technique of Upasana Yoga that you read in Tripura Rahasya.
Yeah. So this Prana Vikshanam, which is a practice we always practice. Gina did that multiple times. So Prana Vikshanam is you're sitting and observing your breathing.
Yeah.
So the scripture, the language used in the scripture is very beautiful. I loved it. It says like, observe your breathing as if your life depend upon that. So you'll be extremely mindful, right? So then the scripture tells you need to practice 2 things to stabilize your mind. One is what you're trying to do is you are fixing your thoughts into one object. Maybe it is your breathing. So you're observing your breathing for 3 minutes. And if any thoughts comes in, what do? You bring your mind back again to your breathing. What you are trying to, your objective is there to fix your mind in that breathing process. Second 3 minutes, what you are supposed to do is just let your mind go. So then instead of breathing, what happens? An ice cream comes in. Think about that ice cream. Just focus on that ice cream. You just follow your mind. Next 3 minutes, follow the mind. And then switch back. Switch back to the follow your will. Switch. So this is one very good practice I found. So these are all part of Upasana Yoga, which can be used to stabilize the mind. Okay. So any question on this verse? Because you need to recognize Ishvara properly. Okay. So any questions? Means if there is no questions, we can cover one more verse. Otherwise, if there is any general question also, we can discuss that. Because I know that I have a few questions answered. Poonaji, I think I have a couple of questions from you left, right? What was that? I forgot. Could you bring it up or? No, seems she's not there. Okay, we can continue with one more verse then. Anu, could you please chant?
Naham prakashah sarvasya yogamaya samavrutah mudhoyam nabhijanati loko mamajamavyayam.
Then Krishna tells, don't be disheartened. I'm not my biggest nature or my entire nature is not easily evident to all the people. Naham prakasha sarvasya. I'm not evident to everyone. Why? Because the Maya. What is Maya? Remember, we talked about that. There are 2 features. One is called Vikshepa. The other one is called Avarana. A veil that blocks your vision. And second one is projections. So you see something, but even if you see Ishvara, right? And Shankaracharya tells that such people, when they see Ishvara, They recognize him as Mr. Krishna. That's it. So Krishna's own life, you means, if I go from the Puranic direction, if you go to Bhagavata and all, you see how many times Krishna was blamed. Have you heard of the story of Samantaka? Some ring was stolen and
Yes.
people said that it is Krishna. So even though they see him, they don't recognize me. That is a Puranic perspective. From a bigger perspective, means Krishna gave 14 different examples, easy example. I see that example every day. Every day I drink water. Every day I see sun. Every day I see, means I get strength in myself, right? I see everything. Every day I try to achieve things, but still I don't see Ishvara. Why? Because of this yoga maya, mamavritaha. So this power of maya that covers the whole world and that covers me and make my vision actually not proper to people. So then he tells, like, the deluded people, right? The deluded people, they see me, but they not recognize me as the unborn and imperishable. Even if the devotees of Krishna thinks that he is a Krishna, that's it. They never understand me as the unborn and imperishable. So the Ishvara, when it comes, what happens? You don't recognize. I really like the story of Tolstoy. Have you read that story? There is a beautiful story. I forgot that. This is the story of a shoemaker, like a Martin. I forgot the name of that story. So this person means he had a dream that God saying that I'm coming to your house tomorrow. He made a big feast and waiting for him. And first time a poor person came. He fed the poor person. And then still waiting for the God. Another person came in. He fed that child. Another widow came in. He fed that widow. Everybody came, but the God didn't came. He was so sad, he was sleeping. In the night, he had a dream. What was that dream? I came 3 times to your house. So people typically, because of these delusions, they do not understand me. You have to get out of that delusion. And that delusion can be done only through knowledge. So until you practice this Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, and Jnana Yoga, you will continue, you may see him, Ishvara, many places. And I always remember, like when you study the 4th chapter, you will see. Whenever you need, when the real need comes, you will see that blessings in some form, right? Maybe a quote in the wall, or maybe the power of positivity post in Facebook, you get a message. Maybe the smile of a small child. It is good enough for me to move forward. And if you look for that sign, if you think that those things are coming from Ishvara, you can get it 100%. And most of the times we see all these signs and we are expecting Krishna to come with that, all that fancy dress and in front of me, and that will never happen.
Rajaji, the book's name is Where Love is There, God is Also.
Exactly. Where love is there, God is love. This is a story that is translated into maximum language. It is such a fantastic story. It is the story written by Leo Tolstoy. So let's see that. Covered by this Maya, not everyone recognizes Bhagavan. So Lord can be seen only by certain bhaktas or certain seekers. Not all the devotees will see Ishvara. Ishvara come to light only for those people who seek him and who are qualified to recognize him, not everyone. That's why a lot of people settle with Artha and Artharthi, because the people are covered by Maya and they do not recognize Ishvara. So this is the effect of Maya, and that is what is preventing. So don't say that now I have an excuse, I won't recognize Krishna. No, you have a choice to get out of it and know Krishna. Okay, so any question? So we covered up to verse 25. And in 2 more days, we can complete this session, and then we can recap this in one session. So by the end of July, we will complete. Such a beautiful chapter, only 30 verses. And when I summarize, I will go over all the key concepts in a 10 slides presentation. Okay, Anu, do you mind chanting this verses 20 to 25 once again, if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure. कामैस्तैस्तैर्हृतज्ञानाः प्रपद्यन्ते न्यदेवताः तं तं नियममास्थाय प्रकृत्या नियताः स्वया यो यो यां यां तनुं भक्तः श्रद्धयार्चितुमिच्छति तस्य तस्याचलां श्रद्धां तामेव विदधाम्यहम् सतया श्रद्धया युक्तः तस्याराधनमीहते लभते च ततः कामान् मयैव विहितान् हितान् अन्तवत्तु फलं तेषां तद्भवत्यल्पमेधसां देवान् देवयजो यान्ति मद्भक्ता यान्ति मामपि अव्यक्तं व्यक्तिमापन्नं मन्यन्ते मामबुद्धयः परं भावमजानन्तः ममाप्ययमनुत्तमम् नाहं प्रकाशः सर्वस्य योगमाया समावृतः मूढोऽयं नाभिजानाति लोको मामजमव्ययम्.
Very good. Thank you. So we will talk, we'll meet on Thursday for Atma Bodha, and otherwise we'll see you on Sunday with chapter 2.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rajesh.
Thank you, Rajesh.